His name is Charles Gregory, and him and a young lady named Madam Touch and Lauren, they have a show on the I guess they have a Philly Cam show that comes on every Monday at 9:30, I believe, and I think it's called We Talk Weekly. So seeing him here, being in the Philly Cam campus, taking classes, meeting the people, it's really provided the inspiration necessary for myself to kind of keep pushing along to try to make some things happen, and ultimately to find more platforms to touch career seekers that are out here looking for information. So great.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Man, we are happy to have you. So what's going on? What's been going on in your world since last week?
So many things.
Yes.
Every week is just a new opportunity, every day really, to just be, number one, be thankful for the blessings that I have, and I think that all of us can say, even when life is throwing challenges at you, just to be positive and remember the good things that are happening. But I'm just working on just continuing to put my podcast out there, continuing to try and do some more speaking, and just try and help as many people as I can.
Yes, how does she do it?
Hey!
So you know what? Speaking of blessings, you know what? Let me shout out my South Philly Grow class. They completed the Grow program today. Generations Realizing Occupational Wellness. Right. And I'm really happy for them. They told me they would listen in. So shout out to Hope, Angela, Wadia, Quamisha. I'm forgetting somebody. Talia, yes, I got it. I got everybody.
There you go.
Hey, I hope you all are listening. Thank you so very much. You guys were great, and I know nothing but great things are going to happen as we go into interview season. I'm glad you're listening to this particular show because we have an interview expert with us today, and that being Erica Woods. But let's talk some more about some things that we can do for you. Now, tomorrow from 10 to 2, Thursday, February 23rd, 2017, the Public Sector Job Fair takes place at 900 Jefferson Street in Philly. I think that's going to be a great place for people to connect with employers, courtesy of State Representative W. Curtis Thomas, the 181st Legislative District. It's going down. At the fair, you're going to meet with various public sector employers, including the Department of Education, the Department of Community and Economic Development, the Department of Revenue, the City of Philadelphia, and several state-related universities and local hospitals. Where else do you want to be from 10 to 2? I think that's the place they need to be, Tim.
I agree. That sounds like the place they need to be for sure. And that's tomorrow at what time?
That's tomorrow from 10 to 2, February 23rd, 900 Jefferson Street. It's the former Waukesha School. So if you're from that area, that's great. If you need more information or just to sign up for the workshops, you might want to contact Sharon Stoker at 215-560-3261, or you can email Sharon at sstocker, S-T-O-C-K-E-R at pahouse.net. That's going to be a great event, and Representative Thomas and his staff will also have useful information regarding some state programs and services. So definitely get in touch with them. And if you go, call the show, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, let us know how that goes, because one, we want to provide the information to you, but we'd also like feedback. We're the neighborhood show, so we operate on the feedback that we receive from the community. Yeah. One of the things I'm wondering as we keep going on, Tiffany, do you have some information that you would like to share as well?
I do. So Thursday, that's also tomorrow on the 23rd, at 9 a.m. there will be a computer class on Microsoft Excel. And let me just say something quick about Excel. One of the things that one of my goals for the last 2 years in my new role was to learn and use Excel and learn pivot tables and all that kind of stuff. So if you have the opportunity to go, I suggest you try and get to this class. That's 9 a.m. tomorrow. And actually all of the things I'm about to share are located at the same place as PA Career Link at Suburban Station, and that's 1617 JFK Boulevard, right there by the L. So if you get a chance to visit there. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, there is ACE the interview class, and that's for an hour and a half. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, that's Thursday the 23rd, and at 1 o'clock there is another workshop on. So if you have an interview, and that's for an hour, and everyone is invited. That's tomorrow, Thursday, February 23rd. That's 9 a.m. for the Excel class, 10 a.m. for the ACE the interview workshop for an hour and a half, and then there's a 1 o'clock workshop on interviews. And on Friday, this is all 1617 JFK Boulevard, 9 a.m. We got more advanced Excel. So if you already know a little bit about Excel, then this workshop might be for you. Somebody like me, I would probably go to the one on Thursday, not the one on Friday, because I still want to make sure that I cover the basics.
I don't know, you just spoke about pivot tables, so you might know.
But see, that's a word that's at the top of the screen, you know what I'm saying? So that's just how I try to make myself sound like I know what I'm talking about, but don't really. And so again, this is Friday the 24th. At 10 a.m., there's a do and don'ts of resumes, and we talk about resumes.
Nice.
I mean, we could talk, that could be the only topic we ever cover
Sure.
every week.
Absolutely.
But I definitely think that you should check that out if you want. And that's for 2 hours tomorrow. At 10 a.m., there's also another workshop on legal issues and employment. So if you have any questions related to that, I think that that would be a good one to attend. And last but not least, 1 p.m. on Friday the 24th, network to find a job. One of the things that we always talk about on this show is the value of knowing your network and knowing how to approach your network about opportunities that you're interested in and about the skills that you have. So if you missed this, that's okay. You can go to philaworks.org/career-link in order to get this calendar. And there are lots of events that happen every single day at Career Link at 1617 JFK Boulevard.
And it's the Career Seeker Show live on WPPM FM 106.5 Philadelphia. Where else would you get all of that information in the first 10 minutes of the show? Come on, this is what we do over here. This is really what we do. Hit us up if you're online, watching on Facebook Live or streaming on Facebook Live. If you're watching, like us, hit us up. Tell your friends to join. We're here from 4 to 5 every Wednesday. Please check us out at phillycam.org. And you can also just check us on 106.5 WPPM FM. We are going to speak briefly to the teachers, administrators, and coaches out there. TIFF, the 4th Annual Philadelphia Diversity Career Fair, is taking place March 4th at the Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. That's 500 West Willow Grove Avenue in Philadelphia, PA. This is an interesting career fair because you'll get to meet and interview with over 40 public and private schools.
Oh, wow.
What an opportunity. Access over 1,000 jobs there and online. They're looking for experience, and certification is a plus but not necessary. Bachelor's degrees are minimum. All majors are welcomed. Free admission to the Philadelphia Diversity Career Fair. Register today at www.nemnet.com, nemnet.com. Click on career fairs and just follow the path from there. This is the Career Seeker Show live on WPPM FM. We have with us today, just sitting in and kind of hanging out with us, super intern Isaiah Baptiste. We're really glad to have you today. So just sit back and see how we do this. Know what I want to do, Tiff, down the road? I've known Isaiah for a while, and I really believe I have him, and there's another individual I think. We should do a brief show, well, not even a brief show, but a show on how teenagers find employment.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
That I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
I think that will work, and maybe we'll have Isaiah do some research and kind of spearhead that project. I just gave you some work to do, but
That's right.
so I think we need to do that. But in the meanwhile, if anybody is in that position and they're looking for a job, we have an unbelievable resource here today. A friend of the family, I'll call it, straight from Hollywood High. LA's own Erica Woods is in the building. E. Woods, what's really good?
Everything is good.
I love that. I love that.
Tiff, did you hear that Hollywood High?
I did.
This is a true story.
I
This is
did.
That
true
was a
story.
million years ago. And Hollywood High ain't no different than West Philly High.
No.
Wait to get out.
Oh, I know that's right.
Okay, I can't wait to get out there. But you know, if you're getting out and it's LA, that's a totally different
That
thing.
is different than it is being. It's a little different. A little different.
I have not seen the beach in West Philly just yet.
No, not yet.
I
That's
haven't
true.
seen
You don't
it.
get out of school and go to the beach here. I don't know,
Couple storm drains
Yeah.
filled up, but not the beach.
Fire plugs.
Yeah. The water, the fire plugs, yeah, all of that. We make our own beaches out here in Philly. So Erica, listen, I wanted to have you on the show because every time I speak to you, Tiff, Erica and I both were consultants at an organization, and we kind of sat back to back, which was great because Erica always had the Dove chocolate on hand, and I could lean over.
That's a
and
good
get
friend to
chocolate.
have. That's a really good friend to have in the office.
Here's what made her, you know what, she went from good to great friend because she told me, listen, Ken, whenever I'm not here, the chocolate is in this drawer right here. Help yourself.
Always making sure she's looking out for you,
Looking
right?
out for
Even
me.
when you're
Somebody's
not
got to.
Somebody must.
Looking out for me.
Oh.
You know, I was tired. I do a lot, Tiff. I work hard.
You
I
do.
come in, I don't get lunch, so Erica was there with chocolate to say it'll
On
be all right.
hand.
Yeah, on
It'll be
hand.
all
On
right.
hand. It'll be all right. So speaking of all right, Erica, you know, I was just telling you about our Grow class graduating. So some of them informed me today that they had some interviews and they weren't feeling 100% about their performance in the interviews. So I just thought we could sit down, kind of chat about some interview do's and don'ts.
Sure.
Maybe tell some interesting interview stories.
Always a few of those.
Yeah.
And really just kind of connect. It's the Career Seeker Show, so we're really not we don't push the button in any direction. We just kind of share information and really just try to open people up to each other's network. So I know I was thinking about the first time I introduced you to Tiffany,
Yes.
and I believe we were in the hallway for like 15 minutes
Yes.
laughing
Yes.
Yeah.
about what I have no idea is. So
That's how you know you were good people.
Exactly.
Yes, it's true.
So I knew the synergy would be really good. I knew the synergy would be really, really good. So I was reading some articles, and you know, they were speaking about some interview do's and don'ts. But just in general, I wanted to kind of chime in with you because what are you seeing? I know you're out interviewing people
Nonstop.
on nonstop. So what type of things are you seeing that people are doing well, that people aren't doing well, and we'll just have a general conversation. We'll go in and out. You know, Tiff will check in, I'll check in, and let's just see what's happening out here.
Well, I think one of the things that people are doing very well is dressing for success. Right? That's a really important thing because the very first impression you make when you walk into a place is what they see when they look at you. Right? And something that a lot of people can do better is dress for the culture of the organization.
That's a good point.
Right,
Okay.
because a lot of times, you know, you may think that you got it going on, you got your suit, you got your nice dress, whatever it is, and you arrive at the place and there are a bunch of hippies in jeans and Birkenstocks, and so suddenly you're a fish out of water, right? And, you know, this goes to another big do that I always say to, you know, and I tell people this, you know, please look at the website, find out who we are. Find out who you're interviewing with
Yes.
and know them so that when you walk in and, you know, the CEO sits down next to you or your hiring manager sits down with you, you can say, oh yeah, you know, I read that thing on your bio and it's really great that, you know, your superpower is...
Right. Right. I think, and so can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
So you mentioned going on the website to kind of get an idea about what the culture of the organization is, and then speaking to the bio or things that you may have found out about the person you're meeting with.
Right.
Is there a way to do that wrong or take that too far?
Oh, absolutely. So I'll give you an example from a recent interview. So the hiring manager in question, just to give you a little bit, the culture of this organization is that on everyone's bio you list a superpower.
Okay.
And your superpower can be as simple as I have the power to make any customer feel good no matter what's going on.
Okay.
Right? That's a superpower.
Yeah, right.
Right? Or something as complex as, you know, I'm one of the best singers in the whole world.
Okay.
Right? Which
Would not be true about me.
Me either. This is where people go. And I had someone come into an interview and they said, oh, you know, I saw that, you know, I saw your bio and it's really great and you've done all these great things. Could you sing for me?
Wait just a moment.
Right.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
not good.
disappointing.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't get the job.
No.
Right.
It's poor judgment.
Poor judgment.
Well, you know, the flip
Right.
side of that is, you know, we've had some of our career seekers and candidates circle back to us, and they've been at interviews where they've asked them, who's your favorite entertainer? And let's say they say Beyonce. Well, then they ask them to perform Beyonce. And
Oh yeah.
it happens.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
been
it
on that
happens.
side too, where
Right.
you know, where I'm with a hiring manager who asks somebody to do something crazy. And what I always, you know, my role as the HR person is always to say you don't have to do that, or you don't have to answer that.
Right. and that's
Right.
not going to
And
disqualify
it's not going to
you.
disqualify you from this, right? You know,
Mhm,
so,
mhm.
you know, my role is also to make sure that things are being done in a legal manner, right?
Right.
And that nobody's asking anyone to do anything crazy.
There we go.
I did have a candidate though, who needed to show us all that he could do a headstand or handstand in the middle of the
Are you
room.
serious?
Yeah, that was great. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
You know, I'm always interested to know in those moments, because I think we all have times when we're all very nervous, or
Sure.
sometimes we kind of go blank and we don't necessarily remember a certain period of time because
Yes.
our adrenaline is so
Yes.
high. But just what they, you know, when they walk away from those situations after they've done something that has been kind of, that seems a little odd,
Right.
do they recognize that after it happens, or do they just think that, you know, no, everything just went really well, even though I did that weird thing or somewhat inappropriate thing? Do they not recognize that that was actually inappropriate, or that actually was a little strange and that might have sent the wrong message to the interviewer?
I've had both,
Yeah.
right? I've interviewed people who just thought everything was amazing and couldn't understand why they didn't get the job,
Mhm.
you know, and when I've had to say to them, you know, and giving them feedback, you know, you probably don't want to go into your next interview and do this
Okay.
thing. They're shocked.
Yeah.
And I've had people who've called me after and said, you know, I realized that what I said or did might have been inappropriate,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, is there a way that I can fix that?
Yeah.
Right, and that goes a long way.
Okay.
And depending on who the supervisor is, who the hiring manager is. I've also been in the situation where, you know, where I've had people who cannot get calm.
Mm.
Right, I had someone pass out in an interview.
Elaborate. Tell us about that. That's what I want to know.
Right,
That's the
because,
stuff I want to hear
You know,
about.
well, there are two sides to this, right?
Okay.
Because first of all, if
Hold
you're-
on, Erica. Now, we know you're from LA. Did they pass out or did you knock them out?
No.
Tell us the real story.
She's an HR manager.
We're
She's not
knocking
knocking
people out.
anybody
We're,
out.
we're not knocking people out. We're just throwing them out of windows.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
Presuming that they're stunt doubles.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
an important distinction.
Right,
Important
right.
distinction.
So,
Important
we're not
distinction.
knocking people out.
Okay, all right.
Just to be completely on the other.
We appreciate you clearing that up for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
That's
thank
why I'm here.
you.
But you know, I've been on both sides where you get a candidate who can't calm down, and I've also been on the side where the hiring manager doesn't know how to calm people down. Because a good interviewing team, if you note that somebody is very nervous, you loosen them up. Right? You start with something really easy, you tell them a funny story, you know,
Try to make them feel
try
comfortable.
to get them comfortable, right? This one individual though, this was many years ago, this was early on in my interviewing, and she, you know, came in and sat stock still, and you know, she was obviously shaking, and you know, we tried all the techniques to get her to calm down, and she started to hyperventilate, and we asked her if she needed a break. No, I'm fine.
Whoa.
And then she just
And then
passed
she
out.
just passed out.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I remember that the hiring manager looked at me, and I looked at the hiring manager, and we're both already calling 911, because of course we don't know what to do.
Sure.
And she, when, you know, the ambulance came, she came to, and she says, "Oh, this is embarrassing."
Oh.
First words out of her mouth.
Oh.
And I said, "You know what, don't worry about it, we'll reschedule."
Right.
And that blew her mind. And I actually hired her.
Are you serious?
She was great, and she was great.
Hold on.
at her job.
So when you hired her, did you tell her over the phone, and then did you have to call 911? Like, did she pass out after you hired her? Because that could be, or did you just, or did you bring her in and inform her? That might have been the
We
same
actually-
thing.
It was,
Have her
right.
come in.
We brought her back for a second interview, and we spent a lot of time with her.
Okay.
I walked the halls with her. She just was a nervous person,
Mm-hmm.
right? We ended up walking half the interview.
I just pictured her in one of these chairs, an office chair, and you wheeling her around the hall for fear of her legs getting weak.
Waiting. Oh my goodness.
Right.
So I think that says so much about you and your interviewing team, that you were, number one, your first instinct was not to put her out and just say, we're done with you because you
Right.
passed out,
Right.
and give her another opportunity, and then give her an opportunity to succeed by knowing that she was a more nervous person, to then
Yes.
try to build in ways for her to be successful and kind of get through the interview. So when you think about that, do you have, if someone knows that they're a nervous person going into an interview, do you have any advice for how to prepare themselves or how they might even prepare their interviewers or warn their interviewers that they're super intense?
So that's the first thing I recommend,
Mm-hmm.
is if you know that you are someone who is really intense,
Mm-hmm.
let the interviewers know, right? Look, you know, I've been told that I'm a really nervous interviewer. I'm starting to find that that's true. It's no reflection on how much I want this job, or in fact, I'm even more nervous because I do
so
Right,
this job,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I highly recommend is the more you know, the less nervous you are. I
Okay,
can't
so
stress that enough.
Preparation.
Right, preparation. Do mock interviews. Do a lot of mock interviews, right? When I was younger, I interviewed with my grandmother and with my mother, and she can tell you stories because she always corrected my grammar.
Let's remember, let's call her. We'd like to hear some of those stories right now, actually.
Well, she's listening. I'm sure she'll call in when she gets back to me and tell you all about it. My mom.
I love this.
So, you know, but I recommend that if you're prepared, you're less nervous.
Sure.
On the other side, I also, you know, say to interviewing teams is, you know, cut people some slack, right? It's a big deal. A lot of people are interviewing sometimes for the first time in 10 years. They haven't had to do it. They're out of practice. Cut people slack.
You know, we had mock interviews, what was that? It was last week. We did some mock interviews at the Urban League of Philadelphia. So we had some people from my Grow class participate in the mock interviews, and I was stunned that prior to going, how nervous they were, even in a mock interview setting. I mean, like nauseous, like they were really that rattled by the process. And I started thinking to myself, wow, I wonder what happens when it's a real interview. Like you're sitting there waiting with a group of your peers, but how about when you're waiting in an office by yourself? Like, what does that bring up? So I said, okay, that may be something we need to focus a little more on. That's kind of an afterthought in our process. Not an afterthought. We understand the importance of mock interviews, but it's like, let me prepare you, and then, but at a real interview, how do we speak to them about basically calming themselves down, to Tiffany's point? So I think that's a valid question that people need answered.
And I think listening also. What happens is we get so nervous that we stop listening, and then we're not putting out what the hiring people are looking to receive. Right? So stopping, recognizing, look, I'm nervous because I want this job, but what's going to get me this job
It's delivering.
Yes.
Right? And then just finding your focus, right? Then find your focus. And everybody's got different ways to do that, right? If what you need, I remember one dude, he brought a picture of his kids, he put it up right there.
On the desk?
On the desk.
Wow.
For
And
the
that,
interview.
okay.
And every
And he was
time he
good?
started to like get lost, he would do that, and he would bring him right back,
Really?
right? And I was like, and I said, that's a great technique. And he said, well, I do everything for them, right? And I want this, and I want this for them, because if my life is better, their life is better.
So you hired the whole family?
Of course I did.
Yes.
There you go. Everybody eats. Everybody wins.
I couldn't actually have the kids, so we had to do that under the table.
Under the table,
You know,
right.
Underage.
You know, I've never had anyone do that. I did have someone bring their pet fish, their goldfish, to the interview. It wasn't a goldfish, I'm sorry, it was like a tetra. What's the name of those fish?
A tetra.
A tetra?
Yeah.
They had a pet tetra.
Better Petra than their mom.
Well, you had somebody bring their mom?
Yeah,
I've heard about
bring their mom and then defer to mom.
it
Wow.
during the interview.
During the
Wow,
interview. You know,
wow.
so, tell me a little bit about your career and different
You know,
challenges you've had.
your mom took that mock interview experience too far.
Too far.
She should not have went with you on that interview.
So was that a millennial
No.
person? Oh, okay.
Actually,
See,
this was back in the day.
wow.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the criticisms that I've heard about them. And I am a millennial. I'm on the older side of the millennial generation. But that's one of the criticisms that I've heard is that sometimes you will, they'll bring their mom or their parent to the interview. They'll make reference to their parent
Yes.
and the conversation. And not that it's a bad thing to have a relationship with your parents, obviously that's a good
Right.
thing. but what does that say to the interviewer about your maturity, about
Yes.
your ability to kind of handle this job on your own?
Right.
From my experience in the law school setting, I had someone's, and this is not interview related, but I had someone's mom call me to ask questions about their registration for the bar exam. And I was like, wait, this person is about to be a practicing attorney. You can't, I said, you can have your son call me and ask me these questions, and I appreciate your attempt to support him, but no.
You know, I've received tons of calls from parents and spouses inquiring about someone other than themselves, and where they were at in the process or what they needed to do moving forward. And I just delete. I can't. If you can't stand up and speak for yourself in this situation, I don't know if you're someone that can be a valuable part of our team.
Right. And it's perfectly fine to have those conversations offline. And that's so don't, I hope that our listeners are not taking away that we don't want you to consult with anyone. But you have to just make sure that we don't necessarily need to know about that consultation. And that when it comes to like referencing your significant other or your family in making the ultimate decision, that's expected. That's completely fine. I have to consult with my wife or I have to consult with my husband. That makes sense. But if you're talking about having your spouse have those conversations with the employer for you, that's not appropriate. And it does not help you. At the very least, it does not help.
Doesn't help you at all. In
Right.
fact, as Ken just said, it makes you look like you don't have the stuff to do whatever the job is. Right? You can't handle it.
Sure. It's the Career Seeker Show live on WPPM FM 106.5 Philadelphia. We are going to take a brief break and then we'll come back with more interview advice and interview stories and interview questions from Erica Woods, Tiff South, at KL Johnson Info. Career Seekers, WPPM FM 106.5.